Texas went through a damaging freeze that didn't need to be, because we have a government that believes in laissez-faire capitalism, that the free markets take care of everything. It did not have regulations to force electric companies to weatherize, to force gas companies to ensure that they could deliver the gas, because they wanted everything private. They stayed off the national grid because they didn't want control from the federal government. Now what we're seeing is a collusion between the Texas Republican infrastructure and Wall Street to screw Texans. I want you to listen to this. This is a setup that I did a few weeks ago, but it gets worse. You'll see in a minute how much worse it actually gets. Check this out.
Agency that runs the Texas power grid overcharged power companies billions of dollars for electricity during that last month's ice storm. That explains why some people saw electric bills for almost $10,000. The Public Utility Commission, or PUC, which oversees ERCOT, decided not to reverse the mistake. It's unbelievable. ABC 13 reporter Courtney Fisher.
Here's how the discussion went down during the Public Utility Commission meeting. Again, just ended a few minutes ago. Listen.
We would have to decide that now if we wanted to reprice that. And I'm not inclined to do it today because for the reasons I said. I think that, there were these prices. Decisions were made about these prices in real time based on information that was available to everybody, to all market participants. And they did all sorts of things that they wouldn't have done if the prices were different. And it's just nearly impossible to unscramble this sort of egg.
We're paying for electricity we didn't even have.
ABC 13 data analyst Keaton Fox is here to talk about what this really means. But Keaton, you heard those people Rick we just heard from. He is angry. We're paying for power we didn't even have.
Absolutely. And let's sort of go into depth here on how all of this happened. As you mentioned there, the PUC may have not gone into depth on how it happened, but we're going to. This is the chart of prices for that wholesale power during that week. So this was Saturday and this was Sunday. Let me draw sort of a crude drawing of when power started to go out. You remember, it was about here. It was for 2 days, and then it started to come back online. These prices, as you mentioned, this was about $20.
This is normal.
That's normal. When I checked it yesterday, it was about 30.
Okay.
This is 10 grand. So significant difference.
10 grand and the power's out.
Correct. So what should have happened was that these prices should have begun to come back down in line with how much power was available. It did not do that. So for 2 full days, ERCOT was overcharging those power customers $16 billion. And of course, now we're hearing that they are going to say, yeah, we're just going to let it stay.
Yeah, so why not reverse it? I mean, those people are angry. People are going to hear this right now and be angry about it. Really, what's your take on that?
The Texas grid is really set up like the stock market. You gamble a little bit on supply and demand. In this case, the Public Utility Commission saying, listen, we promised power generators a whole lot of money, and if we reverse it, they're not going to get their money.
It's really upsetting, as you say, just maddening, because the increase was immediate. Why wouldn't the decrease be immediate?
Right. Why would be the decrease not immediate? Because it was a scam on the Texas. It was a scam on Texans. Understand that this was what they did. They figure we got a big freeze. Now we can make Wall Street a whole lot of money by keeping these values the way it is. And guess what? We'll corner the market because we can. It's a collusion between Abbott cronies, and the Wall Street. Now, if you think this is so on-fetch or far-fetched, all we have to see is what Texas Monthly, the magazine, the newspaper, comes out and says, now, because this is simply amazing. Some on Wall Street profited off Texas blackouts. In a private call, a top regulator pledged he would try to protect their windfall. In other words, even though they overcharged while there was electricity available, they overcharged. It says, while many Texans last week worried about sky-high electric bills from February's winter storm, the state's sole utility commissioner, that guy that you just saw there, state sole commissioner, was privately reassuring out-of-state investors who profited from the crisis that he was working to keep their windfalls safe. Texas Monthly has obtained a recording of a 48-minute call on March 9th in which Texas Public Commissioner Chairman and author DeAndrea, the guy you just saw there, discussed the fallout from February power crisis with investors. During that call, which was hosted by Bank of America Securities and close to the public and news media, DeAndrea took pains to ease investors' concerns that electricity trades transacted at the highest price the market allows might be reversed, potentially costing trading firms and publicly traded generating companies millions of dollars. And here's what he said. I apologize for the uncertainty, DeAndre said, promising to put the weight of the commission behind efforts to keep billions of dollars from being returned to utilities that were forced thanks to decisions by the PUC to buy power at sky-high prices even after the worst of the blackout had passed. In other words, even though we scammed these people, we are not going to give the money back. Oh, we're going to create some sort of an idea why it cannot be done. And this is what he also says. I took the first step to tip the scale as hard as I could in favor of it being resolved to provide some calming force, DeAndre said. It's a contentious political issue. The best I can do is put the weight of the commission in favor of not repricing. In other words, in favor of screwing Texans from the theft of their money. I mean, think about it. Governor Abbott, after this occurred, said, oh, it's the Green New Deal that caused it. The wind power was not there. That is the reason why the sky-high prices were there. That is the reason why we lost power, because of those windmills. Now we all find out it's a fraud. If any Republican is ever elected in Texas again, Texans themselves would deserve exactly what they've sowed. The election of people who are there to rip them off. This is a classic example. People died. People lost their homes. People busted out their homes. People lost their savings because their entire homes, many insurance companies don't even cover the water damage. But these guys on Wall Street, from DeAndre, Abbott's collaborator, they're going to make a killing. We spend a lot of time deconstructing the news, trying to parse it into a form that everybody can understand. We try to find those little nitpicks where it flies above the fray, etc. If you really like these videos that we do, I want to ask a big favor. Please go ahead, number one, subscribe to our channel, and number two, please join if you can. Thank you so kindly for watching. Keep watching. Please remember to share. We must populate the entire internet with our progressive message, a message that we know is what most Americans say that they want. So help us, please join.